Hi there, I'm Jens, one of the 3 co-founders here at Tables. In this video, I'm going to give you a complete walkthrough of the Tables platform, what it does, how it works, and how it could provide the most possible value for your specific use case. Now, just to preface, we are very early. At the time of this recording, we wrote the first line of code 3 weeks ago, which means that there will be bugs, there will be issues, but there will also be almost weekly updates and new features which you can follow along on our Discord channel. That is also why we ask for your help to improve the platform. So if you have any thoughts, issues, or any wishes for future updates, you can basically just report it on our Discord channel. Now, with that said, let's jump into the platform. Now, the very first page we land on is our homepage. Now, this is basically where you can keep a complete overview of all the lead lists that you are currently enriching. Now, we can start off in a few different ways. We can either create an empty table, import a pre-made lead list through a CSV, or we can search through our people database to build a lead list from scratch. Just to show you how it looks like, we can click on Search People Database. And in here, we basically get an Apollo-like view where we can search in a bunch of filters and basically put in all the criteria for our ICP to find the best possible leads for our use case. For an example, we can put in CEO, hit enter, and it will basically find all the CEOs. When you have your criteria and your lead list set, you can basically just hit export CSV. You can enter the amount of leads that you want to export, and you can enrich it with their email, personal email, phone number, etc. Now, in our case, I've already made a lead list that I want to enrich. So I'll click back to our homepage, choose this list right here. And as you can see right here, we basically get presented with a simple spreadsheet-like UI. This is probably very familiar to you if you've ever worked in Clay. Now, we have a few different options in here. For an example, we can start filtering our lead list based on multiple different criteria. We can search through our leads, but we can also start enriching our lead list. And this is where the fun begins. We can click in the top right corner on Enrich, and the very first thing it does is that it creates a new column where our enrichment will be. In our case, we can choose between 2 different types of enrichments. We have LLM and website. If we start by hitting website, we can basically make an enrichment that takes the prospect's URL, so company website, and it scrapes the entire website for all the content. You can then use that content from their website to start enriching information about the lead that you can use as leverage in your sales process. So as you can see, I've chosen website. I can then click on website column. I can search for website. Let me just choose website. I've then chosen the website from my lead list. I can then give this a name. I'll just call it scrape. I can hit save and then save and run for 10 rows. In this case, I'll just run it for 10 rows just as an example. You can then see right here that our column scrape is now enriching all the leads. Great, as you can see, our enrichment is now done. If I choose this one right here, you can actually see that it has scraped the entire website of this specific lead. Now, this is really cool because at this point, I can add a new enrichment. I can choose LLM. I can then choose my model. You can choose the nano version for cost optimization and the mini version if you want a bit faster output. I'll just choose mini for now. And then I can insert a prompt. For an example, I can say, make a company overview of, and then I can hit / company. And then I can basically insert my scrape right here. I can create a new column and I can call it overview. I can hit save and run for 10 rows. And as you can see, our enrichment is now starting and it is very quick. You can actually see it is already done. Now, just by closing this column right here, I can actually check out the output. So I'll just click this one right here, expand it a little bit. And as you can see, it gives me a complete insight and overview of the entire company just from the scraped content from the website. If you want a bit more inspiration on what kind of enrichments you could do and different use cases you could use these types of enrichments for, you can jump over to our academy, where I basically have this section called enrichments. And this is basically pre-made templates that you can use to do different types of enrichment. So for an example, you can have a company mission enrichment that builds an enrichment that extracts the company mission in one sentence. Now, if I press this, we actually have a complete interactive guide on how you can make this enrichment. We even have pre-made and tested prompts that you can use to get the best possible output. So I highly recommend that you check out all of these enrichments, try them out, and see how it could provide the most value for your specific use case. With that said, let's jump back into our table right here. Let's say that I'm satisfied with my lead list at this point, and I actually want to put it into use. I want to use it for cold email, cold calling, or just insert all of these leads with all the enrichments into my CRM. I can basically just hit export to CSV. If I want to, I can add different filters to filter out irrelevant leads. But let's just say for now that I'm satisfied with this. I simply just hit export to CSV, and just like this, it basically just gives me the entire CSV with all the enrichments. So that is basically how easy it is to get up and running with tables. Now we are very, very early with tables, and there's a lot of improvements to make. But that is also why we're asking your help as a beta user to help us improve the platform, report features, bugs, or any wishes that you have for improvements to the platform in the near future. So with that said, have fun. Bye.